Hey traders, checking in on the stock market today. So we had a lot of whipsaw action as there was a lot more battle going on today after complete bear control yesterday. We'll go over who came out on top, some potential clues that were giving us some insight as the moves were playing out, and where we stand as we head into the rest of the week. So before we hit the charts, we've got another free ebook here. We'll put a link in the description in the video as well as the comments in the YouTube video here. And it's about flow state. It's going along with the recent theme, the weekend video I put out about psychology of a trader and finding your flow state, some tips about what flow state actually is, and getting yourself in a rhythm of habits and routines to help find that flow state. Because once you experience it with trading, man, it's powerful. So check that out, free. SPY. So we had a extremely volatile day today. And obviously these market conditions are not normal. So there's a lot of newer traders that are getting extremely frustrated, and that makes sense because the volatility is nutty. The range that we saw today, just off the top of my head, QQQ went 4% up and then 2.5% down, 2.7% down, and then traded around in a tightening range for a bit longer. That amount of volatility, 4% up, 2.7 down, that's over a week worth of volatility in many different market environments. So this is just absolute whipsaw action, and it shows a lack of liquidity. And when things are so thin, when you clear out order books, whether it's on the way up or on the way down, and you see a big move take place, the order book is then thinner because you clear it out. And obviously orders and market makers fill in a bit on the back end there, but it's a lot different environment than when it's a lot calmer. And the elevated VIX is an indication of that. And as long as the VIX is elevated, and what I mean by elevated, you can see back when we had, level, things were a lot more level. There was a base down here, 14, 15, 16. We found a new normal as far as what that base is. And then back here in 2019, it was 11, 12, 13, just a base, nice and calm and orderly. And now we have an uptrend and the VIX is elevated. We don't have a base right now. And we're watching for a base to develop at some point in the future. And whether that base is then, 2021, 22, who knows, in a new geopolitical environment. But we can say that as long as the VIX is up in the 30s or higher, that we can anticipate significant volatility is going to remain common. So SPY today had a 5-minute downtrend to start the day, double top at the high of the day, lower high, lower low, lower high and lower low with no follow through. Okay, let's keep an eye on the bulls. That bear break had no follow through. V-shaped bounce. We didn't change the trend. We're not going to believe any counter trend moves that are not with trend changes. We give it all back. A new low of the day. Again, no follow through. Okay, bulls are defending these levels, and then an absolute V-shaped move straight off the low of the day. And there was a headline to add to that. Again, we're in an environment where headline games are going to be played. So the headline was, Ukraine says, being included in NATO is not necessarily required, as far as, maybe a little bit of a concession. Okay, we don't need to join NATO. And in the end, was this really said? Was this new news that was released? Was this from a previous conversation? In the end, again, we're going to see these headlines that see reactions at key support or key resistance, but as far as the concrete actuality of a change, it's not going to be significant unless we see, there's certain headlines that'll be concrete and significant, but there's also a lot that will have the price react, but trend changes are the most important thing. We did get a 5-minute trend change here, and this was the first 5-minute uptrend when QQQ did it. Haven't been watching SPY as closely, but that was the first 5-minute uptrend in 2 days of trading. But what did we not do? We didn't change the 15-minute trend. If the bulls want to gain confidence, they need a 5-minute uptrend, they need a 15-minute uptrend, they need an hourly uptrend, they need a daily uptrend. All of those things take time to develop. So if you shoot straight up off the low of the day, yeah, it's a nice move. There's nice gains to be had, day trading volatility. But if you retrace significantly, once we retrace 50% plus from this move, we could say, okay, an equilibrium is the most likely scenario. When you have massive volatility in one direction and then significant volatility in the other direction, giving back 50% plus of the move, you scout an equilibrium. So we pulled back 70% plus, and then we bounced to the lower high, and bears win the end of the day. if we had closed within the equilibrium into the end of the day, it would have been a bit more up in the air. But the end of the day bear win just keeps the bears confident because we did not confirm an hourly trend change. The hourly trend is my guide for the last 4 days. We confirmed the hourly downtrend, and since then it's been complete bear control. And so on that move, we had space for an hourly trend change to try and take shape, but we did not confirm the hourly trend change. So heading into tomorrow, for a vast majority of individual names, if you do not break the high of today tomorrow, the bears stay confident and in complete control. For a lot of names, if you break the high of today tomorrow, an hourly trend change confirms. So here we are testing the low, and on SPY after the low of today, we're looking down at the fear low, 410.64. And we are currently about 1.5% above that level. And again, we have to remind ourselves that even if we confirm a trend change, we have to be cautious of just a daily low or high being a result of that bounce. So in the end, a ton of volatility 2 days ago was complete bear control. Bulls did not show up to play. And today they showed up, but they didn't have enough. And the bears will continue to short big spikes that are fast and hard as long as it keeps working. So that low is potentially still in play. And QQQ, same deal. And pretty much everything was the same on QQQ. Bear breaks with a lack of follow through, significant move, gave it back, just 15-minute stair steps in both directions. Stair step break leading to a big pullback, stair step bull break leading to a nice move up, stair step bear break leading to the end of the day weakness. So nice clarity on the 15-minute, but in the end, the bears win. They stay winning. They defended successfully against the bulls changing anything at this point. So QQQ tomorrow, 319.94, and then the fear low of 318.26 is right there. SMH tried to get a bounce going, big time volume, hourly, big move, tried to set the higher low to shape up the trend change, but ended the day with some weakness. If we do not break the high of today tomorrow, bears keep complete control. And we already are at fresh fear low, so we're just looking at 239.65, the low of today, as a short-term support level. Tesla is still trying to shape up a trend change. Again, the retracement size here is much different than many other individual names. And the EV names and the solar names are getting some traction with the oil narrative that's going on. But again, as I said yesterday, we have to see the broader market help, which it did today. And the solar sector had a big day, which we're about to look at. And Tesla had a great bounce off its low because the broader market was helping, but it faded. So Tesla is still 55% retracement, trying to set this daily higher low and trying to set up an hourly trend change. So Tesla looks a lot better than QQQ, but if QQQ does not find a bottom, Tesla's going to get dragged down with it. If QQQ finds a bottom and gets a daily bounce going, Tesla bulls are positioned really well for that. So that's the main, obviously the broader market is the main factor here, but we set an hourly higher low, failed the high of the day, and then the end of the day weakness, we roll over a bit. So Tesla bulls have to confirm an hourly trend change for a daily higher low to try and be set. And we're watching the broader market. Solar sector is performing in a big way. Look at that volume, just a power continuation move. So low, high of the bounce, higher low, holding EMA 12, and confirming the daily trend change. We know we will have to confirm a weekly trend change eventually as well, but the bulls obviously have complete short-term control. Hourly time frame, anything above the low of today is an hourly higher low. The next resistance level after 77.73 is 78.86. And the question is, how long can the bulls maintain the daily uptrend before weekly consolidation shapes up? So solar sector performing very well and changing teams. We're talking teams. We got most names, most sectors are bear. We've got, our war names, our fertilizers, our commodities. They're bull. And solar is one of the first sectors to shift teams over the last 2 weeks. Everybody else is staying fairly put. So this is notable, and they're now on Team Bull. So solar sector performing very well. And I'm watching the 6-month time frame. Is this a 6-month higher low? Massive breakout, massive pullback. Maybe the solar sector is going to trade range bound. We need a weekly trend change to confirm to the bulls, but if it does, it's possible the solar sector trades range bound for a couple of years. You show me that chart, you don't tell me anything about it. I tell you a higher low and then a lower high is the most likely scenario. The healthcare sector, which was a lead bull, is giving it back. So now a lot weaker, still well above the fear double bottom. 124s is a double bottom, but we're heading towards that level. The only way the bulls are going to change anything is by holding 124 and breaking 132.63 or 64. That is now our new benchmark that the bulls must break if we're going to change momentum. But increasing bear volume, close at the low of the day, definitely a drag on the broader market today. And all of our major sectors, XLF, XLV, QQQ, at certain points today, they were all at the low of the day at the same time in the morning. And none of them are standing out saying, I'm the lead bull. XLF was a lead bull for a while. XLV was a lead bull for a while, but no one is holding it down on the bull side of things. So XLF, fresh lows. Again, we already broke that key level. I was scouting a bearish entry on XLF on a back test of 36.80, and I just wanted a little bit further. I didn't take the trade, but I wanted to see the price get nice and extended. I was looking for a break of 36.70 to be making an entry playing off of 36.80, and we just rolled over and it ran away without me. So bears keeping their control, and XLF, if we break 35.49, we're looking at 34.90. And again, it's just a clear downtrend, clear daily downtrend. Make the bulls prove it. If they can't prove it on the hourly, they're not proving it anywhere. And again, even if we prove it on the hourly, we're just scouting daily lower highs on a ton of names. IWM held on a lot better today. Growth names held on a lot better, but we double topped at the high of yesterday by a few pennies, 2 pennies, double top rejection. So it's just a daily inside bar. The bulls have to prove it by getting over that double top tomorrow. And again, if we're going to prove anything, need a bigger picture trend change. So we're holding up better comparative to our recent low the past couple days, but it's certainly not a lead bull. It's just not as bearish. So that is it for our major sectors. On to the commodities. The dollar is a daily inside bar. If it breaks bear, there's a ton of space for the daily higher low to form. But bulls are keeping control overall. 4-hour EMA 12 support. Metals had another good day. There's a very clear inverse relationship between metals and the markets right now. Down to a very short-term time frame. This is when the broader market bounced. It then topped out. It then bounced again. And then it broke bear. We're doing the exact inverse. And there are clues to be had with that. It's not, enough information for me to act on, but it's a little piece of the puzzle. And one little clue that stood out to me this morning as I'm watching QQQ try and set the tone for the bulls, we hit a new high of the day at 940. And I looked and I said, is gold giving us any sign of weakness? And at 940, the answer was no. We were breaking out on the 5-minute time frame. So we double topped here, and that double top coincided with that QQQ and SPY new low of the day with zero follow through into that massive bounce. So it's just another little clue. It gives me more confidence. If I'm looking bullish in metals, I want to see bearish stocks. And if I'm looking bullish in stocks, I want to see weak metals. So on this current setup, gold is a 4-hour inside bar. We're a double top at the all-time high right now, but the all-time high is in play. It's just 1.2% from where we stand. If we see weakness, we're just looking for a 4-hour higher low with lots of space for it to form. On the shorter term time frames, 5-minute oversold conditions. We didn't even get there today. Bulls front ran 5-minute oversold conditions a bit. Silver had this resistance line up. I had it a little bit lower here, but just keeping an eye on it, not acting on it, just a visual guide with the bull break and giving a lot of that bull break back. And the daily perspective, again, bulls in complete control, higher low every day for 8 days in a row. Next resistance after 26.95, we're looking up at 27.25. And there's still plenty of space for a 4-hour higher low next time we consolidate. Pretty much this inside bar on the 4-hour would have to break bear for me to keep paying attention to that uptrending resistance line. But again, the metals don't have anything to worry about as long as the 4-hour uptrends are strong. The miners look like a little blow-off top. Not a blow-off top, but a climax top into daily consolidation. We'll have to see into tomorrow, and definitely the broader market weakness had an impact on this because the metals don't look this weak. but it's a big volume climax, and it's a bearish reversal candle on the daily. So looking at the end of the day, if we confirm an hourly downtrend, that means daily consolidation is underway, and we scout a daily higher low, and we keep an eye out for hourly oversold conditions. So the miners today, clearly weaker than the metals. We closed at the high of yesterday today. And just as a comparison with gold, we're nowhere near closing at the high of yesterday today. The hours are a bit different, but just a rough gauge. So keeping an eye out, if I'm an aggressive bear in miners looking to dust or another bear leveraged ETF, I'm scouting an hourly lower high to be the result of this next bounce. Oil. So oil had a big pullback here, still a 4-hour higher low, still EMA 12 support, but that size of pullback has us watching for a lower high. And now we're fairly range bound. Well, all things considered, range bound from what we've seen the last week. Daily inside bar, but a 10% range. And anything above 115.54 keeps the bulls in control as far as I'm concerned. But we did pull back just under that resistance. So tightening up here, heading into the oil inventory report on tomorrow. And we're watching the headlines, of course. Putin talking about, shutting down exports of natural resources into the end of the year, potentially. Just a bunch of positioning. So have to keep an eye on that. Obviously, commodities still very strong at this point. And some of our other names that were strong, fertilizer, MOS, daily consolidation underway. Again, volume climax, upper wick, very different daily candle compared to the previous one. So daily consolidation underway, close to hourly oversold conditions. If the low of today breaks tomorrow, we scout daily EMA 12 as support, and we scout hourly oversold. And even if you're not looking to play that hourly oversold bounce, aggressive bulls will be, but it gives us information. If that's our low, hourly oversold, and that's our daily higher low, that shows us the uptrend is still strong. And when Bitcoin's breaking out and going to all-time highs, the amount of times that hourly oversold or 4-hour oversold marks a daily higher low into a continued breakout, it happened very often. So that is, again, for me, it's a signal of a strong uptrend when that happens. And other names here, some oil names, XOM, maybe that's a climax candle. Again, whenever there's a volume ramp up and then a big volume day and an indecision candle or a candle with an upper wick, that means caution. It might be time for daily consolidation after the significant bull run. So keeping an eye out for anything under the high of today to be an hourly lower high. So there will be some aggressive bears on names that have not started daily consolidation that are scouting an hourly lower high on the miners and some of these oil names. But only the most aggressive bears are looking for that play on the hourly time frame. What else we got? Uranium. So uranium had a lot of volatility today. CCJ held the low of yesterday by 3 pennies into a big bull move. 10% from that low. Tons of volatility. Hourly equilibrium into the end of the day. Hourly uptrend is going to remain our guide. A less convincing uptrend on the uranium names than on the metals or on a lot of these other names that we're looking at, oil names. But it is an uptrend, and it is a sector that is trying to get into the conversation of lead commodity bulls to be keeping an eye on. So hourly uptrend our guide, and again, a lot of volatility there as well. Bulls bought the dip, 15-minute, hit oversold first thing on the morning. That was the double bottom. And then 5-minute got just above oversold, got right down to 30, and that marked our hourly higher low. So that's the hallmark of a strong trend. 5-minute oversold, marking an hourly higher low. And if you're looking at this and saying, well, the RSI didn't hit 30, this is the close of the candle. When it was at the low of the candle, that RSI probably was right around 30, 31. But it marked our hourly higher low. So that gives the bulls continued confidence as long as shorter-term oversold conditions mark longer-term higher lows. So long story short, the bulls didn't prove much today. They showed up. There was a battle. There was a lot of volatility, but they did not come out on top. And if we do not break highs of today tomorrow, the bears will continue to have confidence and control. Bears will continue to short big spikes as long as it keeps working. And that is where we stand. Watching for clues for metal potential tops to lead to or to help pinpoint stock market bounces and vice versa But if these metals remain strong with 4-hour uptrends, we're going to look for stocks to remain weak. So keeping an eye on that inverse relationship. Feel free to ask any questions. Check out the Flow State ebook, and we will see you soon. So you're at the point of the year where I just let this all overgrow and allow for some flowering for the first pollinators of the year to be able to enjoy. This is all chickweed that's flowering, that's edible. I love the color of this kale. And this is because it got so cold a few times at night, but really cool. What the cold does if it drops below freezing is it allows for the release of starches to make the kale taste sweeter and adds a little bit of sugar to the leaves on the inside. I forget what this flowering vine is, but we're gonna build it a bigger trellis and then we're gonna attach a chain to the tree over there and see if we can run it over to that tree. Don't want it to choke the tree out, but I think it'd be pretty cool to have it extending over to it. We'll see how it goes.